Hey everyone, how's it going? My name's Ben. Welcome back to the channel. Now, I just wrapped up my 12.5 hour drive home from Overland Expo West in Flagstaff, Arizona, hence the cup of coffee. And I figured I'd take a couple of minutes to chat to you all about my experience as a first-time attendee at Overland Expo. Full transparency right at the top here, this is not going to be one of those videos with the full walkthrough of the $600,000 Earth Roamer or $400,000 truck house camper. And it's not going to be one of those videos with the sexy B-roll of the $300 over-engineered shovel or the $500 propane portable generator or the myriad of ways that were on display to take a luxury dump in the woods. There will be plenty of videos about those, I'm sure. You can go find them. There were tons of people walking around with their cameras and their gimbals, getting all of that B-roll. I just wasn't one of them. So grab a cup of coffee and let's get into it. So right off the bat, the ultimate highlight of this weekend at Overland Expo for me was far and away the camping. And it's not because the campsites were incredibly beautiful or had amazing views. Far from it. We were crammed into the county fairgrounds. But what was amazing about this experience was just the density and proximity of so many like-minded individuals with so many incredible rigs to look at. It was so much fun just getting to walk around the campsite and ask questions and see people's rigs and let people talk about their rigs and show all the mods that they had done, all the DIY work they had done. It really just was inspiring, honestly. And on the same token, getting to come back each evening and spend time with the folks that were camped on the left and right of me and just have conversations about our favorite spots to camp in the Eastern Sierras or hearing about trips to Baja back in the 60s and 70s. The friends I made and folks like John and Kelly were just, it was unexpected and totally a great experience. I think there's something about just feeling like a part of a community and being surrounded by it that is inspiring, and it fills you up and was really a great part of this weekend. So if you're planning your own trip to an Overland Expo here in the future, I would definitely recommend camping and saying hi to folks and just having conversations. So that brings me to the expo itself, and here's where I think I have some mixed feelings. To be clear, though, I'm not here to pass judgment or tell anyone that there's a right way or a wrong way to do this overlanding or camping thing, because my whole stance has always been that as long as you're getting out there and you're having fun and you're exploring, don't worry about what the naysayers are telling you. There's no wrong way to do it. So I went into Overland Expo excited for the opportunity to hear from quote unquote real overlanders, right? The folks that are doing this full time, going on amazing expeditions and adventures across borders, across continents, across the world. And really my goal was to be a sponge and to soak this all in and to learn the tips and tricks and take notes about places to see and things to do and who to talk to. And to some extent, I did get to do that. And not to some extent, I got to do that. It was an amazing couple of days full of lecture after lecture from some really incredible folks. Graham and Louisa Bell, who have overlanded with their family around multiple continents. Eric and Brittany from The Hourless Life, who have overlanded for the last 8 years and are just setting off on their world expedition. Folks that have taken motorcycles all up and down the Pan American Highway, all throughout Africa. Deep discussions on border crossings and visas and logistics and all sorts of things. What I suppose I expected was for that to be the emphasis of the expo. And I was sort of taken aback that it wasn't at all. I walked into these lectures and most of them maybe had a dozen or so people in there, sometimes less, sometimes more. I went to a talk about overlanding through the Yukon in Alaska that probably had about 35 or 40 people in it. I mean, hey, I'm not going to complain about that because what it meant was a more intimate setting to ask questions and have conversations and learn what I really wanted to learn. So that was fine by me, but it was just sort of shocking that you step out of these lecture halls and the vendor area is packed shoulder to shoulder, right? There's vendor after vendor selling you absolutely everything under the sun. And they're all trying to market to you and tell you that you're not overlanding right unless you have their gear with you, or you're really missing out on a piece of the pie if you're not taking this on your trips, or the experience could just be so much better if you spent money on whatever they're selling. I guess it was just really surprising to me that there was so much emphasis on all of this gear and purchasing the gear, acquiring the gear, and so little emphasis put on actually using the gear and getting out there and exploring. And I found it especially funny because as you left the expo to walk back to the camping area, front and center there were the adventure motorcycle campers. And I'll tell you what, these folks were so inspiring to just walk by and look at their setups, because I heard a couple of them talk in some of the lectures about the worldwide travels they're doing, and somehow they're managing to do it without the rooftop tents, without the Dometic fridges, without the 270-degree awnings and the crazy solar setups and all of these luxurious things, right? They don't have showers with them. They're not carrying portable toilet privacy tents and all of that stuff. So you got to ask yourself, like, are they missing out on something that we're not, because we have all of those luxuries? And I think that the answer truly is no, right? If anything, I feel like they're having a much more authentic experience using the minimalist backpacking gear that they are, right? They're actually getting out there and they're using it. And that's what matters. And that's what I'm inspired by. So I guess at this point you're all asking, well, Ben, you probably didn't go to Overland Expo and not buy a single thing. And you're right. So let's talk about what I did buy. And it's this stack of reading material right here. I did not come home with much gear, but I did come home with a couple of really interesting reads that I'm excited to dive into. So these books are from Graham Bell. This is We Will Be Free. It's the story of his family's overland journey through Africa. And this is Overlanding the Americas. It's, again, his story's family from going through South and Central America. I'm super excited to dive into those, especially as I start planning my own Pan-American trip. And then I spent some money also on these back issues of Overland Journal. These specifically cover their tour across all 7 continents, which, again, with my eyes set on more global expeditions, I figured this was some really good reading material to have on hand as I start planning and preparing. So that's my real big takeaway is for me personally, I'm excited by and I'm motivated by the adventures that I can have. I want to place far less emphasis on the gear. I think that's important to me. So with all that said, I'll definitely be going back to Overland Expo in the future. Just this idea of being able to surround myself with such an incredible community, so many like-minded folks, and learn from people that are really doing this day in and day out was an amazing opportunity. It was also so much fun to get to say hi to a couple of you that I ran into and just be inspired by all of the cool builds that I saw out there. So if you were at Overland Expo, let me know in the comments what you thought below. If you're not subscribed yet, go ahead and hit that button, turn notifications on. We've got a lot of cool stuff coming, and I don't want you to miss any of it. Until next time, get out and explore somewhere.